Hi, everybody. My name is Jenny Xie, and I am here for some sitting, walking, and breathing meditation. I'm just going to wait a minute for people to join us because we still have 2 minutes before we technically begin. So I'm going to just jump on and share this live with a group here. So happy you could join us. So happy. Just gonna give it another minute. I hope everybody's having a really nice day. And if you happen to see my cats behind me here, do not be alarmed. I have two cats, and one of the cats, her name is the Bee. We have like 10,000 names for her, but one of her names is the Bee. And then we also have Star, who is a tortie. She's a tortoiseshell cat. And the Bee doesn't like Star that much. She growls a lot. So can you hear that? She's kind of growling right now. So let's go ahead and start. It's 6 o'clock. So welcome everybody. I'm so happy you can join us today, where we can come together and enjoy sitting, breathing, and walking meditation. And we'll also reading a little bit about the topic of love, but from two of Thich Nhat Hanh's books, one called How to Love and one called The Sun, My Heart. So hunker down and find a nice comfortable position. I'm just going to read a little quote by Tennessee Williams. My Dharma teacher Joanne Friday shares this quote all the time, and I really think it's very important right now, especially with the way the world is going right now, with all the things that we're all facing. The world is violent. It will have its way with you. We are saved by love. Love for each other and love that we pour into the art we feel compelled to share. Being a parent, being a writer, being a painter, being a friend. We live in a perpetually burning building, and what we must save from it all the time is love. That quote is by Tennessee Williams, and that it's very, very poignant for today's time together. We're really looking at love and how interconnected we all are. So what's the most important thing to save is love. There's so many other things too alongside of love, but they are to be done in love, all of those things. So with that, let's go into our first sitting meditation. So just find a comfortable position with your back against the chair. If you have a cushion that you'd like to sit on the floor, you can do that. Just make sure that If you're sitting on a chair, that your back is touching the back of the seat, that your feet are flat on the floor, not crossed. Some people like to place their hands cupped and just rest their thumbs together like this, just barely touching, as if you could put a sheet of paper between your thumbs. And some people say that, if your mind starts to wander, your thumbs kind of pull apart naturally. And so it draws your mind back, and you're aware that your mind is wandering when your thumbs are sort of drifting apart. So just like nothing like, jamming your thumbs together, just something very easeful and finding a position between wakefulness and restfulness, a position of ease, feeling the alignment of your spine and your tailbone sitting comfortably, and then also your cervical spine nice in alignment with your head, not too forward or too back, but just sort of resting in a neutral position. And just soften your gaze with a downward gaze. And if you want to close your eyes, you can do that. So I'm going to invite the bell 3 times, and we'll just start with a gentle guided meditation, and then I'll signal when we're going to flow into our silent meditation. Body, speech, and mind in perfect oneness. We send our hearts out along with the sound of the bell. May all who hear it awaken from forgetfulness and transcend all anxiety and sorrow. Breathing in, I know that I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know that I am breathing out. In, out. Breathing in, I follow my in-breath, very end. Breathing out, I follow my out-breath from its very beginning to its very end. In, out. Beginning, end. Breathing in, I see myself as a flower. I am the freshness of a dewdrop. Breathing out, my eyes have become flowers. I am looking with the eyes of love. So, for the next little while, we'll sit together in silence. And if some thoughts should arise in your head, in your mind, just allow them to be there. Um, Maybe observe them as if they were clouds that are coming in. And then, just like a cloud, they pass and they go and drift away. So, if there's any discomfort that comes up in the body, if there's any violent thoughts, any other kinds of thoughts, just being able to sit with them and not react, but just to sit there and be with them. Just noticing if any thoughts are coming up in this moment, and if they are, just taking a nice breath just to be with those feelings, those thoughts, those emotions. Just take again paying attention to the thoughts or the lack thereof. Maybe there's no sensations, maybe you just feel a neutral feeling, and that's fine. If there's strong feelings that are coming up, instead of trying to push them away, just see if you can sit with them. Small bell for stretching and massage. Twisting. Lovely. So now's the time together when we'll do some walking meditation. Um, I don't want to leave the screen blank by going off to walk. So now's the time when you can pause the replay of this. If you're watching live, then we'll talk about walking meditation. But I'd like to invite people, if you're watching this replay, to pause after we talk about walking meditation and go and try it for yourself. It's a very different experience than just walking like you do every day. Um, and it's different in that we walk just to walk. We have no destination in mind. That walking is a means in itself, no end goal to reach. That we are just mindful of the fact that we're the middle of our foot and then the ball of our foot are just walking, and that we're paying attention to Thich Nhat Hanh likes to say, our feet are kissing the ground, and that we're also imprinting our peacefulness and our calmness on the earth, and we're not imprinting our anxiety, our despair, or sorrow on the earth. So I'd love to read this little tidbit by Thich Nhat Hanh about walking meditation. This book is from his book, Walking Meditation. And it also has an instructional DVD and 5 guided meditations. Interesting. And where did I get this? Look at that barcode. Got that at the library. Okay. So this says, in Buddhism, there is a word, apranahita, which means wishlessness or aimlessness. The idea not put anything ahead of ourselves and run after it. When we practice walking meditation, we walk in this spirit. We just enjoy the walking with no particular aim or destination. Our walking is not a means to an end. We walk for the sake of walking. A.J. Must said, "There is no way to peace. Peace is the way." Walking in mindfulness brings us peace and joy and makes our life real. Why rush? Our final destination will only be the graveyard. Why not walk in the direction of life, enjoying peace in each moment with every step? There is no need to struggle. Enjoy each step. We have already arrived. I love that. We have arrived. There's no place to arrive, right? So, like I said, I'd like to invite you to pause if you're watching the replay of this. And why don't you try to go walk for yourself? You can go outside if it's a very nice day in your backyard or in your driveway. And you soften your gaze by looking down when you're walking. Thich Nhat Hanh offers a practice called gathas. They're these short little stanzas to practice mindfulness while you're doing normal everyday things, is walking. So he has these little gathas, these little stanzas of words that remind you to stay mindful even in your daily activities. So one such gatha is, "I have arrived, I am home." Much like the last that he just said in that quote there, "I have arrived, I am home." So when you take one step, I have arrived. When you take the next step, I am home. Um, and one other thing that Ty really likes to do is he likes to see how many breaths you can take, how many steps you can take on your in breath, and how many steps you can take on your out breath. And that activity just keeps your mind present and aware of the fact that you're walking and you're breathing. So I'd like to invite you to try that if you'd like to. So the next thing we're going to do is a breathing meditation. And it just involves gently breathing in and out and following our breath and counting to 10. And if you'd like to get into a comfortable position, I can lead us through that. So I'm just going to invite the bell again. So I'd just like to invite you to close your eyes and just start to breathe normally. A nice slow breath in, a nice slow breath out. Nothing forced or full of effort, just breathing in a very easeful way. Just feeling your belly and your lungs and your chest all fill with breath and air. And then also on your out breath, feeling that exhalation all the way through your body. So the next time you breathe in, I'm just going to have you count the number 1. And then after that, I'm going to have you exhale and also count the number 1. Then have you breathe in and say the number 2. And then breathe out and say the number 3. And then so on until 10. So I'll just lead us through that. So 1, breathing out, 1, breathing in, 2, breathing out, 2, breathing in, 3, breathing out, 3, breathing in, 4, breathing out, 4, breathing in, 5, breathing out, 5, breathing in, 6, breathing out, 7, breathing in, 8, breathing out, 8, breathing in, 9, breathing out, 9, breathing in, 10, breathing out, 10. And just breathe normally. sitting quietly. And just invite the bell. That breathing exercise can be done throughout the day, and especially I've used it when I was having quite an anxious moment. I just went into a quiet room and did that breathing meditation where you breathe in one, out one, in two, out two, and so on. And it just really brings you back to the present moment. You have no other choice but to come back to the present moment, back to your breath, and back to the counting. Um, so I hope you'll use that moving forward if you feel called to do that. Um, so we're just going to move on now to the time of talking about love. Thich Nhat Hanh has some really great books on this subject and some very deep teachings as well. He wrote a whole series of books that are like these tiny little books that I there's a how to there's one about anger. There's this one, how to love. There's one called how to walk. So there's a whole two like how to series. I didn't get this at the library, but I think that they're available at the library. I'm not quite sure. Um, but these are handy. Um, the first passage that I'd like to read, and they're all very short, one page often, little snippets of wonderful insights on the topic that the book is about, these tiny little how-to books. So this one's called Listening with Patience. When your loved one is talking, practice listening deeply. Sometimes the other person will say something that surprises us, that is the opposite of the way we see it. Allow the other person to speak freely. Don't cut your loved one off or criticize their words. When we listen deeply with all our heart for 10 minutes, half an hour, or even an hour, we will begin to see the other person more deeply and understand them better. If we say something that's incorrect, if they say something that's incorrect, that's based on a wrong perception, we can give them a little information later on to help them correct their thinking. But right now, we just listen. That one deserves a breath. The next one I'd like to share is titled A Pot Instead of a Lid. Very often, we feel like a pot without a lid. We believe that our lid is somewhere in the world and that if we look very hard, we'll find the right lid to cover our pot. The feeling of emptiness is always there inside us. When we contemplate the other person, sometimes we think we see what we feel we lack. We think we need someone else to lean on, to take refuge in, and to diminish our suffering. We want to be the object of another person's attention and contemplation. We want someone who will look at us and embrace our feeling of emptiness and suffering with his energy of mindfulness. Soon we become addicted to that kind of energy. We think that without that attention, we can't live. It helps us feel less empty and helps us forget the block suffering inside. When we ourselves can't generate the energy to take care of ourselves, we think we need the energy of someone else. We focus on the need and the lack rather than generating the energy of mindfulness, concentration, and insight that can heal our suffering and help the other person as well. Mm. These teachings are so deep and rich. The last bit that I'd like to read from this book is called The Practice of Metta. To love is, first of all, to accept ourselves as we actually are. The first practice of love is to know oneself. The Pali word metta means loving kindness. When we practice metta meditation, we see the conditions that have caused us to be the way we are. That makes it easy for us to accept ourselves, including our suffering and our happiness. When we practice metta meditation, we touch our deepest aspirations. But the willingness and aspiration to love is not yet love. We have to look deeply with all our being in order to understand the object of our meditation. The practice of love meditation is not auto-suggestion. We have to look deeply at our body, feelings, perceptions, formations, and consciousness. We can observe how much peace, happiness, and lightness we already have. We can notice whether we are anxious about accidents or misfortunes, and how much anger, irritation, fear, anxiety, or worry are still in us. As we become aware of the feelings in us, our self-understanding will deepen. We will see how our lack of peace contribute to our unhappiness, and we will see the value of loving ourselves and cultivating a heart of compassion. Love will enter our thoughts, words, and actions. Hmm. The last piece I'd like to read is from the book The Sun, My Heart by Thich Nhat Hanh. Another library book, as you can see. This one is called A Love Letter. Where are you now, my good friend? Are you out in the field, in the forest, on the mountain, in a military camp, in a factory, at your desk, in a hospital, in prison? Regardless of where you are, let us breathe in and out together, and let the sun of awareness enter. Let us begin with this breath and this awareness. Whether life is an illusion, a dream, or a wondrous reality depends on our insight and our mindfulness. Awakening is a miracle. The darkness in a totally dark room will disappear the moment the light is switched on. In the same way, life will reveal itself as a miraculous reality the second the sun of awareness begins to shine. I have a poet friend who was put into a re-education camp in Vietnam in a remote jungle area. During his 4 years there, he practiced meditation, was able to develop, and he was able to live in peace. Upon release, he was lucid, like a sharp sword. He knew that he had not during those 4 years. He knew he had re-educated himself in meditation. As I write these lines, I am writing a love letter. I hope these words will be read by you, my known and unknown brothers and sisters, who are living in circumstances regarded as hopeless and tragic, and that you may renew your energies and your courage. Thank you for reading with me. Um, so we can do a little meditation sit, another meditation sit together. And this one will be a purely silent meditation as opposed to the one before we did a guided meditation. So just get into a nice comfortable position and I will invite the bell. And we'll just sit for the next 5 minutes until the next sound of the bell, okay? And just sitting, relaxing your body, your shoulders, your back, your neck. Allowing your body to soften. Coming into a space of restfulness and also wakefulness. And if you're having trouble just um, feeling still and quiet in yourself, just try that breathing meditation we did earlier. Breathing in, number one, breathing out, number one, and so on. Small bell for stretching and massage. So, no Sangha meeting, Sangha just means mindfulness community, would be complete without singing meditation. Why do we sing? Well, Ty likes to say that just like chanting, when we sing, it's very difficult to think of anything else. And it really just helps focus the mind on very wholesome lyrics in the present moment. So that's what we're going to do. And, you know, we just celebrated the 50th Earth Day yesterday. And um, I feel like we need to sing and celebrate that. So there's a song called, I'm sure you know, by Louis Armstrong, What a Wonderful World. So let's sing that one, shall we? I don't know if I have the lyrics to post in the chat box there. So I think you might know. And if not, you can just hum along, okay? I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. I see skies of blue and clouds of white, the bright, blessed day, the dark, sacred night. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. The colors of the rainbow, so pretty in the sky, are also on the faces of people going by. I see friends shaking hands, saying, how do you do? They're really saying, I love babies laugh, I watch them grow. They'll learn much more than I'll ever know. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Silent applause. All right, one more song. Let's do a little upbeat ditty, shall we? How about I'm gonna let life move me? That's a good one. My cat keeps meowing. I'm sure you hear her. She wants to go outside. All right, this is how it goes. I'll sing it a few times and then you can just join along with me, okay? I'm gonna get, I'm gonna let life move me. I'm gonna let life stir me deep. I'm gonna let life wake me ancient sleep. I'm gonna laugh all my laughter. I'm gonna cry all my tears. I'm gonna love the rain as deeply as the sun when it clears. I'm gonna let life move me. I'm gonna let life stir me deep. I'm gonna let life wake me from an ancient sleep. I'm gonna laugh all my laughter. I'm gonna cry all my tears. I'm gonna love the rain as deeply as the sun when it clears. One more time. I'm gonna let life move me. I'm gonna let life stir me deep. I'm gonna let life wake me from an ancient sleep. I'm gonna laugh all my laughter. I'm gonna cry all my tears. I'm gonna love the rain as deeply as the sun when it clears. I'm gonna love the rain as deeply as the sun when it clears. Yes. Now that's some real joy right there. We have to water the seeds of joy so that when trouble hits and hard times come upon us, we have the strength to handle it and deal with it, right? We need to feel that joy and we need to feel it deeply, just like we need to feel our suffering deeply. So, the last thing I wanted to offer tonight is something called sharing the merit. And when we feel so good from our practice of mindfulness, we want to not hold on to that just for ourselves. We want to practice for ourselves, but we want to practice for the whole world too. We want to share that goodness with everybody. We just want to share it. We want it to overflow and we want to share the merit of the practice that we're doing right now. So, this is what we can share, how we can share the merit. All has slowly formed wholesome seeds within us. Today, we gather them together like a fragrant flower garland, and with great respect, we offer it to all awakened ones, a contribution to the fruit of the highest path. Thank you so much for your practice, and thank you for sharing the merit with me. And in communication with Deb, and we are going to figure out some dates for May, so stay tuned. We'll have 2 dates in May to share with you. So I hope you have a really great day. Oh, Eileen says, thank you, Jenny. What a nice way to end this beautiful day. Well, thank you so much, Eileen, and it was such an honor to practice with you and with everybody else here and with everybody else on the replay. So a bow and a smile to you, and have a really, really good rest of your night. Bye-bye.